This is Daisuke! Yeah! So he's had coconut, so he's on a sugar high. And he's just being as silly as he can be. Can you say hi, Kim? Hi, Kim. Hi, Kim. My husband, Kushi. And the wild man. My son is Daisuke.
鍵持たないんですよ、そのうちの。またないいただいて。じゃあ鍵どこあるんですか。一本は僕がここに持ってて、一本が家の中にある。あ、とりあえずじゃあもう送ってください。急いで出てなんか4パスポット飛んで。
That's a big camera.
Yeah, this is an old one. Still works though.
Yeah.
You have a binoculars here, huh?
No, I was saying I really needed to get a telescope so I can.
So now Kobe's
Look
10
out
shots from here?
Hmm?
Kobe?
Oh, Kobe's just on the other side of that hill. Over that way. We can't quite look down into it. There's a little mountain range between us. But with Osaka over there. And the WTC.
You got a great view. It looks like you're actually closer to the WTC than we are.
I think you're slightly closer, but not a whole lot, really.
Hey! Your favorite? Yes. Refried. September 22nd, and it is noon, just a little bit after noon, and as of noon we are under a typhoon watch. There is a typhoon sitting off the coast in approximately that direction, headed more or less for us. We're under a watch from noon until midnight tonight. The current projection is it's supposed to hit the Osaka area by about 7:45 this evening. The wind is picking up all of a sudden. A couple minutes ago it was very quiet. Now it's getting pretty rough. The wind is really starting to pick up. The rain is starting to come down a little heavier, and we'll see what happens. But shades of Illinois, the first week we arrived there, we watched a tornado set down about a mile from us. So anyway, we'll see how close this comes. 2:40 in the afternoon, and the wind is really howling and whipping around the buildings. Larry's not home from work yet, but he's supposed to be on his way. TV went out, so I'm watching a movie. Wind is really howling. Of course, it's now died off a little bit.
And then Ella and I would go up to the third floor, try on all the most expensive dresses we could afford, Annie. And once we
You can occasionally see some rain coming off the roof across the way. It's supposed to hit in about 2 hours. About 3:15, and it is blowing a gale out here. Occasionally it sounds like hail. All the chairs have been blown here, there, and everywhere. Larry's slippers were blown off the porch entirely. And it is really blowing up a storm out here. Larry's on his way home. He's been gone from work for about an hour and 40 minutes, and he called a few minutes ago and said that he was almost into Aishia. He's supposed to call when he gets there, so we'll see. Locked all the doors and windows. However, there's one screen over here that keeps blowing around. It's really blowing out this way too. The chairs, the table are sitting there. The little wind chime seems to be holding up okay, but the big one lost its thing that makes it tinkle. I saw it fly over the porch rail a little while ago, so it's gone. The banging is actually the mailbox, which keeps banging away. And there's a towel down there because we had water blowing under the door. It's really coming down out there. And we haven't seen the worst of it yet. 5:15. Storm's pretty well blown through. It's clear. Larry just got home, so he's been on the road for about 4 hours.
4 hours, yeah.
And we lost our shoes. We both had a pair of shoes out here, and I think they're all gone. Our big wind chime lost all its innards. I got the other one down, but that one didn't make it. I thought I'd seen a chair go flying over the rail, but fortunately I counted and they're all here. And the storm actually has moved out and is now up against the mountains over there, headed toward Tokyo. So we've been watching on the news. Most of the trains are not running. Some of the buses have started running again. Most of the major highways in town are closed and are still closed. Both airports are still closed.
If you really see the Brown River down that way.
Yeah.
You look down that way.
Yeah, you can see all the mud and the guck in the
Side,
river.
it was just running down there.
Yeah.
'Cause I came over the mountains from Asiya after dropping off two of the other guys who had no other way to get home because
It was a good thing you had the car.
Yeah, it was a good thing I had the car because they wouldn't get home otherwise. There was a lot of articles on the news about people being stranded in train stations and such because the trains weren't running. But we got home anyway. I dropped them off. And
4
then
hours.
Over the top of the mountain over there.
Mm-hmm. But the train station down there is still empty, and the one down here in Takarazuka, I haven't seen any activity down there, although the buses are running up from there now. I noticed the buses were coming up from that direction, but I have a feeling it's people who got rides or took cabs and then took the bus up, because I haven't seen any activity on the trains yet. But we rode through a typhoon, so we've now had our latest Japanese adventure, and we're here to tell about it. And all the windows stayed intact, and all the doors.
Sure cleaned off the patio nice.
Yeah, it sandblasted the patio. It just blasted all the bird poop from Larry's pigeons, who sit up on top of the air conditioner up there, and he chases them out all the time. So
Yeah.
and they usually end up with a lot of bird poop down here on the balcony, but that took away most of it. So I guess it was a good thing. Anyway, we're here. The place survived. And it's getting to be nighttime, and it's probably going to be beautiful this evening.
So it is tomorrow. We may do some traveling tomorrow and shoot some stuff.
Well, we'll see. We have a holiday tomorrow, so
Yeah.
tomorrow's Wednesday, the 23rd, and we have the day off.
Change my clothes.
Yeah, I am too.
So.
Open up the door. Okay.
Yeah, this is the next day, of course.
And it's absolutely magnificent out there. There, you're going to get that. It is so incredible. This is day after typhoon. Everything's washed clean, and it's great. Of course, I don't know where all the debris went that blew off the porch and off everything. Well, there are a few little things lying about out there down below, I guess.
Well, we'll get.
Yeah.
We'll take a little trip, so.
Here is the wonderful large elevator.
We've all ridden the elevator before, so I'm going to turn it off when we're on.
Yes.
Because we rode it in the last one, so.
Oh, did we?
Yes,
Oh.
we rode up the last time we rode.
Oh, okay.
So,
Oh, that's right.
yeah.
We did. The This is the group on the red ones. They also have them in yellow and green and blue and purple. And need to get this shot. This is gorgeous. It's not as nice as from our balcony.
Oh yeah. A broken umbrella damage.
A broken umbrella.
Go down the funicular railway.
This is the first really nice weather we've had since we've been here. It's actually cool enough that you can breathe, which is really nice. And there's a little less humidity. I think the storm must have blown out some of the moisture. It's actually pretty nice. Very comfortable today. The building directly across here is one that we looked at also. No, it's the one down there.
No, we looked at
Is the other one that we looked at. They had really nice units too. But ours is the best because we got the party house. Feels so good out here today.
Today, yeah, it's been really good.
Breeze is careful of the steps. As usual, no steps are standard height. These are exceptionally high and narrow. Now keep an eye out there because your shoe may be down here somewhere.
Probably went on down the.
Down here somewhere too.
Well, it probably went on downstream though,
Well, they probably did.
because these gutters were running pretty
They probably did.
high. The open trenches. Well, we'll walk our way down to the shopping center.
And over here on the right are some portable housing. Apparently they housed some of the elderly people that were displaced in Typhoon. They are in the process of removing their temporary buildings at the moment. Of course, it's a holiday, so they're not working today. This is our local mailbox. See, there's our zip code number. 6650847. That's our local number. Post. They're red. This is the symbol for the post office. Is that T with the line across it? This is the local park. There's a restroom and there's a couple picnic tables over here, and after school you see the kids playing and whatnot. People walk their dogs down here.
And play.
They're very good about cleaning up after them. That's what the sign tells us.
And of course, if we want to look all, well, I got a tree in the way. We'll look all the way back, see. That up there is our, that up there is our building. We're at the far end of it, of course, so you can't see our place.
Well, no, you can't see
No, you can't see the one next to, you see the one next door to us. Can't quite see our place from here. Well, we'll head over to the
Burger
shopping
City.
center, and Burger City in the shopping center, which is right across the street from us.
Just down and fix the tent for you.
I know, that's good.
This is Igos-san.
Hi, thank you very much.
This is the best hamburger that Larry's had in Japan. Right here. At our back door. And I'm sorry Misayo-san is not here today. We miss her. She'll be here in a while. Later. Okay. But this is the little place, and it's very lovely. It's always nice and clean, and their food is very good, and they have chicken nuggets that are excellent. And it's within walking distance of our house now. What more could you ask for? My friend, she's teaching me some Japanese. And she's learning English. We learned 3 new words today. In English, she learned 3 words, and in Japanese, I learned 3 words.
No maker.
She's very embarrassed because she didn't put on her makeup. But I think she's as cute as she can be without it. Kawaii desu. Arigatou gozaimasu. Bye-bye.
Burger City, where we just had lunch.
Then down this way is our wonderful little French bakery. Larry, you need to move this way because it's quite trying to get back. This is a great little bakery. Wonderful little bakery. The bakeries here are out of this world. They're superb. Then our little florist is down here. This is the little florist. They're just beginning to get stuff out. They normally have all kinds of things out. There's 2 banks. Of course, we can't use either one of them, but there's 2 banks. This is a beauty salon. There's 2 beauty salons
Let's
here.
take a look at the prices.
About $100 a haircut.
Yeah.
And this is a little drugstore. And this is our little Coke store where we shop. Get around here. There's a little real estate office next door to this. And then the vending machines too.
Oh yeah.
There's vending machines everywhere. On every street corner you will notice that they have things like beer and cigarettes, and they're everywhere. They have hot drinks and cold drinks.
Even the one.
But you find them on the street corners, and people just stop in the middle of the street and go get drinks and cigarettes. We have the recycle bins here, and we forgot our recyclables again. But this is kind of cool. If you don't want to put them out in the trash, you can leave your recyclables here.
Okay.
And it's pretty small, but they have everything that we need. You pick up your groceries in one of these little baskets, and you fill it up, bring it to the check stand, pay for it, and then you wrap your own. You bag your own groceries. So I bring my shopping bag with me, and we bag our own groceries. That's how it's done here. And even in the big supermarkets and department stores, they still use the little hand baskets. They do have a little rack thing that you can put them in. It's over there by the door. But that's how they do it everywhere. This is the local Coke.
The post office. And some of just a nice scenery this year out here. Waterfalls and downhill.
You know this is a new complex because they actually have parking behind the post office and they have parking down here in front of the grocery store. It's quite a deal, actually. Misayo lives in that building. That's what she told me.
Oh, yeah, the
I think
out
it's
from
in
the burger place.
Yeah. I think that's the one.
Yeah, you can see our place.
And we have we also have bus stops right here.
Yeah.
So if I buy too much stuff, I can jump on the bus and go back up to the top.
There's our spot right up there.
Yep, there we are, right up on the end.
Okay, good. Yeah, there's the bus stop. So you can pick up groceries right there. The next stop is in front of our place. The only problem is it costs $2.10 to get there. But
Yeah.
no matter when you get on, you pay $2.10.
It's $2.10.
It doesn't matter whether you go on one stop or 20. The price is the same.
But it's convenient.
It is convenient. But then we have the little
We have
the little escalator that we came, the little elevator thing that we came up with is right there. It's a very nice neighborhood.
the famous parking place outside at the parking structure. There is, in that little enclosure, is the elevator. This is the 7th floor, the roof. As you can see, we're totally exposed to all the elements. This is the second car that Universal has leased. Because Larry's the only one driving it at the moment, so it sounds really awful though. You can see the right-hand drive. So we're going to go on down the hill and show you Takarazuka. We're in the car, leaving our parking place. Notice all the Japanese back in. Why that is, I don't know, but that's just how we do things here in Japan. Guest parking is on the right. I don't know why you're going down the right side, except that this is a really, really narrow little ramp. There's mirrors on every corner so that you can see cars coming the other way. You turn your lights on in the parking structure so that you can see oncoming cars and they can see you in the mirrors. Now you will notice that half the parking is empty and it's blocked off. When we asked about this, we were told that these parking places are for another building that is going to be built alongside this one someday. So we can't get an indoor parking place because these are reserved. You figure it out. Now this goes on for a number of more floors. We're now down to, what is this, 4, Lair?
Yes, it's 4.
This is 4, okay, and there are 7 floors altogether, including the roof, and I'm going to stop filming till we get down to the bottom. And we're headed out. Kenny's here, it's not his car.
I turn off my lights.
We have to remember to turn off the lights because we are sometimes going down the hill and people flash at us to indicate that the lights are on.
Here comes the bus.
Well, there's the bus. Now, if we were going to go down to Takarazuka on the bus, that's the one we'd take. And they come along about every 5 minutes. It is a holiday, so they're probably not running quite as often today.
There's a lower parking structure too.
I don't know what that's for. There's the playground area for the kids on the end. Now there's usually cars parked along here, but it is a holiday, so it's not as bad as it normally is. In fact, there's often cars parked on both sides, so you end up driving right down the middle of the road. However, today is an exception. There's just a couple on the... Oh well, there are, I guess there are a few here. All those people just getting out. Over on the right, they have a neat little gate thing. There's these 2 posts, and there's a chain between them. And people come up, and apparently they have remote things, and they click them, and the chain drops down, and they drive over it. It's kind of a cool thing. Now we're coming down to the bottom of the hill.
That's the
past the shopping center.
We showed you earlier.
There's our shopping center. There's the other bus stops.
pretty winding road. Not much happens on this road, so.
No, this road just winds back and forth across the front of the mountain, so.
On the way down.
Not too much. There's always cars parked over here. I have no idea what they're for, but there's always cars
School.
parked. Oh, for this. Well, this is a driving range, I think.
No, it's a
isn't it?
school.
Oh, it's a school. Oh, okay.
Call it the driving range because of the high fences, but it's actually a school. It's a schoolyard.
It's a schoolyard. Now here is the dumbest signal in Takarazuka. Can't see it now because it's a stupid car.
Line of cars.
But it's always red when you come around the corner. And the only thing it's for is pedestrian crossing. But of course they wouldn't have it. There's never any pedestrians. And of course they wouldn't have it on a trigger so that it would only go when there's pedestrians here. It always is going, which is kind of a waste. There's kids in uniform. Even though it's a holiday, I don't know why the school kids are out, but they are. This is a preschool and a grammar school. There's another little private preschool over here on the right. Up above us here is the temple. There's always something going on off to the left here at the temple. There's usually flags and signs along indicating what's happening, but so there's the little arrows that show how to get there. And these little flags, whatever they say. The sign that with the red circle with the cross means no parking. Sometimes it's observed, sometimes it's not. Now we got a train crossing down here, so there's probably a train going across.
Oh, there's the Universal Studios Florida owner.
Yeah.
And Jurassic Park, and those people.
Those people have been around.
They like this thing.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. That's strange to follow a car in Japan and
Find Universal stickers on it.
Stickers
Yeah.
on it.
Since I'm wearing my Universal shirt.
I got my Universal cap.
I don't know. Did those people
Okay.
come from? They didn't come from our place, though, did they?
No, I don't
They
think
were just
so.
going down the hill ahead of us.
Yeah, we could probably hold this. These are the longest signals in the world. So
oh yes.
well,
we could show the world's longest signals.
No, it's very boring to see the world's longest signals.
Okay, well we'll pause. Now we've moved about 100 yards or so from where we were before. Off here to the left is a cemetery, which is kind of neat.
Big old cemetery. Don't get to see too much of it.
Well, I'm sure it's probably connected to the temple in some way, but then you never know. Down here a little further, and I'm sorry there's a big car in front of us, is the train tracks. So when we get down there, we'll start again.
Okay.
However, actually, it's the first time I've ever seen the shop open. We go by here all the time, but I've never seen it open before.
It's on our street,
But it's right on the route here.
Carved everything.
But got a neat carving there on the bench. It's kind of neat. I don't know where all this traffic is coming from since it's a holiday. Who knows?
That's why it's a holiday.
Well, maybe. Tracks now. You stop for the train tracks. When the wigwag goes down, you stop.
And they come through every about.
Because they come through about every 5 minutes. And there's almost always
quick.
2 trains. One going each way within about a minute of one another or less. So people know not to try to
They don't race the train
race the
tracks
train
around
tracks.
here.
I think this train trestle is the JR trestle.
Yeah.
The one that we crossed down here actually is the Hankyu.
No, it's not.
Yes,
That's
it
the
is.
JR that's on the land.
Huh?
The JR.
The JR is the one on this side of the street. The Hankyu is the one on that side of the street there. And the Hankyu is the one that just went by and it goes by on the level. It's the one we stopped for.
I thought I was riding the JR when I came through there.
They both come through here. Are they down again? Or are they up?
No,
They're up.
it's
We
just
just
traffic.
have another long
It's just
signal.
traffic.
Traffic Probably backed up clear down to the corner. Yep. Don't know where all this traffic is coming from. Now this is kind of interesting. They have this side street blocked off for like a block between here and the next block over. We haven't figured that one out either.
Not too many people were using it.
I guess so. But there doesn't seem to be any residential area there either.
Thought I heard something.
I did too. Well, I'm going to pause it again. I think we're going to get to cross the train tracks finally. Yes. You always slow down too because those things can come down. Now this is the parking for the Cooking Dress, which is the restaurant across the street over there. Already passed it. But we haven't tried it yet. It's like Molly's. It's only open for breakfast and lunch.
JR first.
That's the family land. Half of it's on that side of the road. The other half is across the street over there, which you can't see from here. But it is actually split right down the middle because of the street.
The road goes through it, and the rides go across it. So the rides go across the street. They've got
there's a little tram going across right now.
And buckets, a la Disneyland style.
Yep,
and also the roller coaster goes goes through there. So
yes, it's sort of interesting. Sometime we'll have to go.
there.
Sharon said they want to take Matthew, so I'll probably go with them when they come down. Take Matthew.
Some weekend.
Some weekend. Then when Tracy comes, we'll take her. Because by then, hopefully, we'll have figured out where everything is.
Yeah.
Looks like a fairly big place. And most of the young people that we know that we've met here say they went there when they were kids. And we're at another one of the world's longest signals, so I'm going to turn the camera off for a couple minutes. Now we are going to swing around here.
One of those.
And make one of those
hard right
turns. Larry's actually turned his brain around, so usually when we come up here, he talks about making a left turn, even though it's a right turn. He usually says we're making a left turn. So he's just basically turned his brain around, which works unless you listen to him. There's some more of family land. At night, those light up and they look like big flowers. We're coming in on the train station. Now up here, Takarazuka Station is actually 2 stations. The one on the left is for the Hankyu Railway. The one on the right is for the JR. JR is Japan Railways. There are actually 3 different train services that run in this area. There's the Hankyu, the JR, and the Hanshin. Hanshin does not come up this far. It runs closer to the coast in this area. But both the Hankyu and the JR come into Takarazuka Station. We're coming up on the Hankyu side. Now if we were taking the bus from our place, it would follow this exact route, and it would come up and it would drop us off right here on the left.
The Hankyu station.
Yep, the Hankyu station. There is the Hankyu sign. If I could see it, which I can't.
You can't
out
see it, no.
Out of sight. Here's the number 1 bus stop. Oh, coming up on it. There it is. And that's where we pick up the bus that goes up to our place. It's right there. At the number 1 bus stop. So if you're coming up on the train, you take the Hankyu line. You get off at Takarazuka Station. You step out. You get on the bus at the number 1 bus stop. If you take the JR, you come up to the Takarazuka Station, which is right here. And you cross the street and go over the top.
Okay.
There's a walkway over the top here that connects the 2 stations, and you would catch the same bus, the number 1 bus. Then the bus makes the turn that we just made to come back up to our place. It leaves that bus stop and it makes that turn and it comes back up this way. There goes the train. That's the JR local.
So when I take to work, if I were going to take the train in.
If you're taking the JR in, that's the train you take. Now actually, this is a really good road. This is a really, really good road. The lanes are actually wide enough for a real car. And there are actually 2 lanes each way, which is unheard of. You still have to deal with the world's longest signals, however, so we'll shut down while we wait for this one. That signal. We're headed down the road here back to the corner where we would turn to go back up to our place. Now you can see the street sign up here ahead. There's the sign, and as you can see, some of it's in English, which is very helpful. Actually, downtown Takarazuka is back behind Family Land, down a little ways where those tall buildings are. That's where the city hall and all of the main buildings of the city are. This is sort of the commercial area. There should be at least 2 or 3 people in this service station. There's another one, and the other, I can see the other guy out of my other eye. He's back there. So there are 3 people here. There almost always are. And one of them is pumping the gas, another one is cleaning. Here comes the 3rd one. And when they're finished, somebody will walk out in the street here and stop traffic to let the car out. Because that's how it works. We are now on one of the routes named 176. There are several. This is one of them. There's another one that runs on the other side of the river that is a 176. They all go generally the same direction. There's also the 176 that the Daiei is on, which is our major shopping store, the big department store. But department stores here have food as well as furnishings and clothing and all kinds of things, all in one place. There's the entrance to Family Land, right there. So it's a pretty big place. There's a Denny's. It's a Denny's in name only. You wouldn't recognize the menu very much. The big orange sign is for the Daiei. Daiei is a big department store. It's supposed to be one of the lesser expensive ones. We have bought some household things, and we buy food there mostly. And they carry quite a variety. One of the sort of strange things in the supermarkets is that if they have things on sale, there are people that yell at you. In fact, there are speakers around the store with people yelling at you. Right behind it is the Saiden. Saiden is the electronics store.
You end up going over there.
And it's, well, there's going to turn here just because.
I'm just going to see if I can get into Saiden.
I can get into Saiden.
Yeah, should be able to.
This was a lifesaver the first week we were here. We needed things like extension cords and adapters and other things. And it's a pretty big store. They have appliances and all kinds of stuff.
Notice the emergency beepers go off when you
Yes, the
put
backup.
it in reverse.
The backup beeper on all cars.
Okay. One of the larger swells. Or what is this place called? Isanoma or?
No.
See the guys out?
Isadora, I think.
Yeah, Isadora Beach in Wakayama.
It's Actually, they had a contest.
Yeah, they had
3
a
weeks
contest
ago.
here a couple weeks ago. Let's see the guys going. If it picks up this afternoon, I may go out.
Another one of our typical 4-hour drives.
Yes.
To find no surf.
But yeah, this was the home of the big contest.
Oh, look, there's a surfboard up there.
We could find out. It's running.
Oh, it is? Well, this is
Mhm.
Brutus Surf Shop
Yeah.
in Wakayama. And Larry
Mhm.
just finished surfing at Isanora Beach.
Yeah.
And had a nice conversation
With the
guy
owner.
who owns the shop. So our surfing expedition is a success.
He showed me a map of all the spots. There's one spot here and a bunch of spots further south, about an hour away. So if I wanted to go an extra hour, it'd be fun, but okay, anyway, enough for now.
From the USJ offices up here on the 28th floor of the World Trade Center. And this is Osaka Harbor. And moving across this way, it's kind of rainy and ugly out. It was gorgeous this morning. There is the Hyatt, where we stayed when we came over for our relocation trip. And the pool right now looks like a swamp. Looks awful. Oops, can't see it from this side. You can see it from the other side. But there's more of the Osaka area. And I'm going to move to another location here. We'll get another view.
Oh, this is kind of
This
like...
is Sharon,
Who am I talking to?
my daughter.
I'm going to
Say
wave
hi,
like
Kim.
them. Hi, Kim.
So Sharon and I are now working, supposedly.
Crazy.
We don't know what we're doing, but we're here.
And I don't like being on camera. So
Bye,
tell her
Sharon.
When she can come stay with us.
Now she's going to stay with
Well,
us.
she can come visit us.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. I lied. This is not the Hyatt. This is the Hyatt over here with the ugly swimming pool. 2 weeks ago that pool was a gorgeous blue and now it's just an ugly green swamp. Looks terrible. And there is some more of Osaka Harbor. Out there. And I'm sorry it's so ugly because it's really kind of pretty. Normally up that direction are the mountains. And it kind of looks like Honolulu Harbor usually when the sun is shining, but right now it just looks like kind of a rainy, ugly spot. Dad, working away, doing his thing, making more work for me.
Making more work. Putting more drawings together.
And this is the offices. Got lots of posters around, which is kind of fun. My office is actually going to be across the hall.
Somewhere.
Dad put together this great map, this super map together. It has everybody on there and where we all live. So now we can find everybody. Of course, the map's in Japanese, so you have to know where the streets are to be able to find everybody. We're up there near the top someplace. And we're way up here near the top. Just about as far as the map goes, but there we are. And then most of the rest of them are clustered down there. So we're kind of a distance from everybody. But then down below here, in the yellow, you can see the job site and you can see the World Trade Center, where we're working now. So that's where we are. So we're kind of a drive away from most of the other areas, but we sure like it up there. Outside Dad's cubicle here. We put up one of the pictures of the fashion show here so that everybody's there. And everything gets kind of stuck up on the walls. Whatever happens to come in that's interesting gets pushed on the walls. Of course, Dad has Jurassic Park because that's his thing. He had Dragonheart. Now originally he had Liar Liar in here, but he decided that wasn't a good thing to have as an announcement or a label over his computer. There's his Dana Point picture. Oops. And there's his copy of the picture we have at home. And all his junk. He's got his usual pile of crud everywhere. Very small area to work in. So he's got stuff everywhere. Into the hall. And there is a direct shot of the Hyatt, the ugly swimming pool. And more of the harbor, and actually Osaka City is out to the right. Turn around here. The restrooms are at the ends of the hall where the lights are. And there's 4 banks of elevators down there. And maybe you can even hear the wind whipping around the building. It's kind of breezy up here today. This is the view from the ladies' room. Yes, in fact, this is the ladies' restroom. As Dad was saying, instead of most buildings where all the executives get the corner offices with the windows, this is the ladies' restroom. And you will note there are no paper towels here anywhere. There are no hand dryers. There is nothing to dry your hands with. You have to carry your own. There is just nothing here but a couple toilets. Nice sinks, marble, very nice. And a great view. Elevator. And we're on the 23rd floor. This is where the relocation office is. And they're at this end of the hall. And T. Terry and T. That's Yukari. Say hi, Yukari. And that's Yai. Don't hide your face, Yai. No, you can't put the bag over your head. And there's Yoshimi-san, who changed the face of banking as we know it in Japan. And there's Shimon, whose name is much longer, but the girls call her Shimon for short, so I call her that, Shimon. Shimogawara. And Yai loves Snoopy. Yay. Yai and her Snoopy in Woodstock. And I opened a bank account yesterday at Sanwa, and I got Snoopy Kleenex. So I said, I'll save them for you for Christmas. Are you guys having another party?
Yeah, because we just got a nice place, so we're waiting that somebody brings us a nice cake.
You had cake yesterday. So this is the relocation office, and they have one heck of a nice view out here, because they're at the other end of the building. So I'm shooting the view from this building because we won't be here for much longer, so just till the end of the year. I know, it was gorgeous this morning, and now it's all uglied up. It's all gotten ugly. But that's downtown Osaka, that direction. And this looking out on the harbor again. That's quite a view. Not quite as good as from our house, though.
Nice part of the trip.
This is the nice part of the trip. Yeah, this is a real road. Reminds me a lot of the bridges in San Francisco, actually. This is the Wangan Road. It's a new one. Obviously, it has 2 whole lanes each way and a shoulder. I mean, this is really incredible.
Well, we are coming up on the really nice suspension bridge.
Yeah. This reminds me of San Francisco very much. Nice thing about the current car that we're driving, first of all, it's brand new. We got it when it had about 90 miles on it. Of course, we put a bunch of miles on it. Or kilometers, excuse me, 90 kilometers. But it also has a cassette player. So we're actually able to listen to music. Very strange, very little music on the radios here. Don't know why.
Nice shot of the other bridge.
There's the sun going down over the harbor. As usual, we're traveling with trucks. First thing in the morning, there's lots of big trucks. Coming home, there's usually trucks as well. Not as many as in the morning, though. It's before 5, so it's not quite as crowded as it will be in a little while.
Well, this freeway is never too bad. You probably want to shut down until we get to the surface streets.
Oh yeah, then we have to show the contrast on the surface streets, which are coming up in, what, a couple kilometers here? Less? Maybe
yeah.
less than a kilometer. Okay, so we will turn it back on when we get onto surface streets. We're about 2 kilometers beyond where we were the last time. We're now off the highway and onto the major thoroughfare. This is a main road.
It's main road. It has an orange stripe.
Has an orange stripe down the middle, but it also, in this case, has a full lane each direction, and has some shoulder on the sides. This is really a big deal here.
I haven't seen where people get parked.
Yeah. Well, when we get to parked cars, then it gets more interesting. Unfortunately, we're behind a big truck and you can't see anything. It's too bad.
We got plenty of time. This is about 45 minutes, so.
So I'm going to shut down until we get to a spot where you can actually see the traffic. That's further on down the road now. We're getting into some of the more typical streets, actually.
Denny's.
This is much more typical of the route. It looked like a Denny's from the outside. It kind of looks like a Denny's from the inside. Doesn't taste like a Denny's, however. And of course we're behind a truck again, so you can't see much of anything, which is really interesting.
Just some of the fun side road stuff.
Yeah, that is a road. Looks like an alley or a driveway. It's not. It's a real road. It's really a street.
Yeah. Signboards all over.
Yeah. Except they're not quite all lit up yet.
Yeah.
It's much more interesting at night when you have all the blinking lights and the emergency flashers and all the really distracting things. It's a train station. Across the top of the road here.
This is the Hankyu line.
Yeah. There are 3 train lines that run across the street we happen to be on. The one closest to the harbor is the Hanshin. The next one up is the Hankyu. The one furthest. Oh, the JR is in the middle?
Yep.
At this point?
Hankyu is this one.
And the Hankyu is this one that's farthest up.
Notice absence of parking. People park kind of wherever they can.
Or wherever they want to.
And they put these railings up to keep people from just parking along the side.
Yeah, because if they didn't have the railings up, people would be parked on the sidewalks.
Because they do, wherever you find a sidewalk. Park on it.
There are also bicycles everywhere and little motor scooters. And they basically go where they want, when they want, how they want, and you just have to watch out for them, because they aren't going to watch out for you.
We can rest till we get up into Takarazuka.
Okay. Traffic's slow. It's always slow.
There's the Wonder Goo.
Yeah, Wonder Goo.
The bookstore.
Which is a bookstore. The word goo is used a lot on signs. We don't have a clue why. They like the way it looks, I guess. Bookstores are Wonder Goo, Book Fun, Book You. There's some interesting names of things. This happens to be Wonder Goo. They have CDs and books.
And games.
And games.
Atari
and...
Or something like that.
Yeah, whatever they are anymore. I don't know. I don't keep track of them, but anyway. So we'll turn it off till we get into Takarazuka proper. We were about 3 or 4 kilometers out of Takarazuka. A little more typical street area. Although here it's actually wide enough to have a dedicated right turn lane, which Larry insists on calling the left turn lane, but it's really right turn lane. Because he's just turned his brain backwards.
Yeah, it makes it easier.
Well, it's easier unless you're giving somebody directions.
Yeah.
Then it becomes confusing.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, you see all the bicycles along with the world's longest signals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's all the bike parking everywhere. People on bicycles. However, I was observing that I don't see baby seats. I just saw the first one tonight.
There's none over there.
Where?
The far corner, they're sitting, I think. Yeah.
Is there?
Yeah,
Well,
she's
two
walking
on
them
right.
across.
Yeah.
Baby seats. Usual traffic of bicycles, walkers, motor scooters,
People crossing in the middle of the
pedestrians.
block. And we're headed for the mountain straight ahead.
Yeah, the mountains are Takarazuka. It's right in here. It kind of looks a little bit like Monterey Park.
Yes, it does actually look a lot like Monterey Park.
Except I think there's more English here.
Maybe. Yeah, there could be. Of course, up ahead there we got a Yoshinoya.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah, Ron's favorite.
Ron's favorite eating place. This is a little bit different here than the ones at home, only because all the Yoshinoyas are one like counter. Everybody eats at the same counter. There are no separate tables or anything. It's just all one big counter and everybody sits next to one another. Well, that's interesting. The light's green, but we're stuck back here. So who knows? It's probably somebody turning, and that means that it'll take 3 or 4 signals to get through. If anybody's turning.
Yeah.
I just realized we were hoping to see some people parking the way they usually do. It's probably a little early because we got away from work about 4:15, and between it's now 5:45. But normally when we go through here, it's usually closer to 6:45. And at that point, everybody's on their way home from work, and everybody is stopping and parking all over the streets, and they're just everywhere. We're still a little bit early. People are actually
Just
more
see
or
a few
less,
cars parked along here,
well,
but
like
not
that
very
one,
many.
but
That's really
not
nice.
the normal.
Yeah.
The norm is usually there's cars not only along the side, but out in the lane.
Well, when we came in early, we're going to lose the light a little bit.
Yeah. Well, that's why we decided to shoot this now, because we still have a little bit of light left.
We'll probably shut it off too.
Till we get closer to home? Okay. So we're making the turn on to Route 176, which is the main route through Takarazuka. At least through our area of Takarazuka.
See,
We've got somebody over here who has
put your,
stopped.
well, if you put your turn signals on, you can just
Yeah,
stop
you can just
anywhere you
stop
want.
anywhere, and they do.
Or your
Your emergency flashes. This guy's over here buying a beer or a pack of cigarettes or something for the trip home.
Yeah, they just stop off signal, and if they can't get far enough over to the curb, they just stop in the middle of the lane and do that. And that's it's perfectly legal.
Well, I don't know about
At least
legal, but nobody says anything to them. Then they creep around, so there's some guy who's about 3/4 of an inch off your side. is actually a coffee shop that we like rather well. It's
It
more
has
like
Denny's
Denny's than
type food,
Denny's.
yeah.
They have pretty good stuff. We had pasta there the other night. It was excellent, just excellent. They actually had zucchini, which was amazing because I haven't seen any anywhere. But they had zucchini in their pasta. Very good. The one thing we don't have up in this area, we don't have a McDonald's, we don't have a Kentucky Fried Chicken. It's really quite amazing, since they seem to be everywhere else. On the left up here, we're coming up pretty quick on the family land. There's Amusement Park. Signs and the flashing lights. There's also the Takarazuka Theater, which is what we get to just before we get to Family Land. The Takarazuka Theater is very, very well known. All of the performers are women, and they do Broadway and Gilbert and Sullivan, and
Yeah, they do all the men's parts.
they do everything. Unlike classic English theater where all the performers were men, and at the Takarazuka Theater they're all women. So this is the entrance to the Takarazuka Theater and Family Land. Yeah, they're both up right there. There are Lawsons everywhere. There are little convenience stores, kind of like, we have Circle K's here, we have, what are the other ones there? There's a couple other that are fairly familiar. There's the Day Store, which is another one, Daily Store. There are a number of those little stores, but Lawson's is fairly common. This is the Shell station where Larry, Wonder of Wonders, was actually able to use his credit card.
Yeah,
So that was
like
pretty
that's
amazing.
Big Shell station.
Yeah. You don't have the lights on at Family Land yet. That's why you can't see it all lit up. Normally by now they'd be on, but they're not turned on yet. There's the big Ferris wheel. Big 4-circle Ferris wheel up there. And this is where we make the turn up the hill, and we've already gone that route, so I think we'll
I think we'll shut it off.
shut it off, because we're also running out of light here.
Real quick.
So that's probably about the end for this take. We'll get it in the mail.